If you clicked on this video, you're probably a teenager. And if you're a teenager, you've probably heard people say, this is the time of your life. These are your years. You're never going to get this time back. And that is absolutely true. These years are some of the most critical phases of your life. These are the years where you change. These are the years where you develop. And these are the years where you lay down the foundation of success, where you lay down the foundations of your 20s, 30s, 40s, and so on. And there are a few things that extremely successful people realize in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s that really make them successful, that change their whole mindset, that motivate them to work hard. If you realize these truths as a teenager, you will be unstoppable. Hey guys, my name is Riva, and today I'm going to talk about what you need to know as a teenager to set yourself up for your success in your adult life. First thing that you have to know is that no one can tell you who you are if you know who you are. Listen to that again. No one can tell you who you are if you know who you are, which means you have to get to know yourself. You have to know thyself. This is one of the most important things you need to do as a teenager to set yourself up for your success in your 20s. And I don't mean this in just a very superficial way where you have to know what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and what your favorite book is, what you don't like, what your favorite movies are, all that. And while it's really great to know all that, and it's really good to have preferences and opinions, you have to get to know where your motivations come from. What do you believe in? And why do you believe in it? What do you not believe in? Why do you not believe in it? And there's a couple reasons why you need to know all these things about yourself. First of all, like I said, if I know who I am, no one else can tell me who I am. One of the things that you have to learn about yourself is your strengths and weaknesses. What are you good at? What are you not good at? What are your best physical qualities? What are your best emotional qualities and things like that? And if I know internally that I'm beautiful, if somebody comes up to me and says, you're ugly, I hate how you look, you are literally so ugly, you look disgusting, I'll say, okay, that's what you think. But I know, I know that I'm beautiful. Then if somebody comes in and says that I think you're ugly, I'm obviously not going to believe them because I know that I'm beautiful. No one can tell you who you are if you know who you are. Another reason why you need to know who you are is because when you know your strengths and weaknesses, by the way, I have my notes down here, so if I keep looking down. Another reason why you need to know who you are is if you know your strengths and weaknesses, that can help you really figure out what you're good at. And that can help you make decisions such as what should be your career, what should you major in, and who should you be friends with. Is doing this particular action worth my time? Am I going to be good at doing this thing? And knowing this can really help you succeed later on, especially in your career, because if you know what you're good at, you're going to know what to major in college, and you're actually going to enjoy it. It's going to help you understand what motivates you and where you derive your value from. And I'm going to give you an example of how I learned about this. When I was in high school, it was like a very confusing time, so I decided to like try to understand what what makes me tick, what makes me want to do things. So when I was studying really, really hard for a test. And I recommend you guys do this too. If you're studying really, really hard for a test, ask yourself, why are you studying for this test? What is like your end goal? Is it to get a good grade? Is it why are you working so hard for this test? Is it because you want a good grade? Is it because you want your parents to be proud of you? Or is it because you want to get you want a good GPA so you can get into a good college? And then ask yourself, what will happen if this doesn't happen? What will happen if I don't get into this college? Or what will happen if my parents don't tell me, oh, good job? Like, will my whole worldview fall apart? Will I think that I'm dumb? Will I think that I'm not intelligent or smart enough to pass this test if nobody tells me that I did good? And your answer to this question brings me to my next point, which is value. You have to know where your value comes from. Your value should always come from within. You have to like yourself and you have to think that you're smart to actually have other people think that you're smart. Like if you only think you're smart because your parents told you that, oh, you did a good job because you got 100 on that test, and if you only think you're smart if you get into an Ivy League school, you don't actually think that you're smart. You're looking for other people to tell you that. And if suddenly people stopped telling you that you were smart, you will also stop believing that you're smart. Let that sink in. Like, you have given up so much power, and so you have given up the reins of your whole life to other people if you think this way, if you talk this way. Your value should always come from within. I'm sorry, but if you think this way, there's no amount of praise and no amount of validation from other people that are going to make you feel good about yourself and that are going to make you satisfied. In short, if you think this way, you are a people pleaser. And I genuinely think that being a people pleaser is the worst fate to have on earth. Like, if you are a people pleaser, I genuinely feel so sorry for you. And this is coming from a people pleaser herself, a recovering people pleaser. My whole school life and the first 2 years of my college life, I did everything for other people. I did everything so that people would tell me that I did a good job. And I think that that sort of thinking wasted so much of my golden years. So much could have been done if I just thought that I did a good job. Trust me, this might not seem like a bad thing right now, but this sort of mindset is gonna follow you into adulthood, and it's gonna change everything. It's not in a good way. It's going to change everything in a bad way. Right now, you might be looking for validation from your parents, from grades, from your teachers. Later on, you're going to look for it in professors. And then you're going to look for it in your boss. And you'll be very surprised to know that they don't give a damn about how hard you work or how smart you are or how pretty you are. And no one's going to tell you anything. Literally, people are gonna stop telling you things because they just don't have to. Everyone has their own problems. Everyone has things to deal with on their own. People are gonna stop telling you these things, and hence you're never gonna feel validated, and you're never gonna be satisfied with anything that you ever do. Later on, this is also going to follow you into relationships, and this is where toxic relationships are born. You're going to keep giving and giving and giving into a relationship, into a partner who doesn't care about you. They don't care. And also, honestly, if you're like that, nobody's going to be attracted to you because it makes you clingy, it makes you look desperate, and nobody wants that. I'm sorry guys, but if you want a good and secure relationship in your life, you have to stop looking for validation in other people and you have to change. Which brings me to my third point, aka change. Change is required in life to progress. Change is but a necessity. Change is but a necessity to go forward in life. Stop being afraid of change. It's always better to keep changing and learning than staying in the same position stagnant. Because if you're stagnant, that means you never got anywhere. If even if you took two steps forward and four steps back, at least you did something. At least you did take a step forward, and that's how you're going to grow. If you keep staying in the same position, you're never going to reach anywhere. You're never going to reach your goals. You're never going to manifest any of your desires, and you're never going to get closer to becoming your highest self. And that is the worst thing that can ever happen to you. So, how do you change? First of all, I need you to believe that anything about you can be changed at any point in time. Any point in time. If right now you got up and you said, I want to change this about myself, or if you got up right now and said, from now on, I'm going to do things for myself because I like to do them, not because I'm waiting for somebody to tell me, oh, you did a good job, or you looked good when you did that. If you just get up and decide today that I want to do it because I want to do it, like, because it's me, then half your work is done. Many people might tell you that it's not that easy, it's easier said than done. You know, you can't change anything overnight. And for that, I say, I call bullshit. I think that if somebody says that to you, they don't want you to change. That means they're technically sabotaging you. And I'm not saying right now, I'm not saying that you can just unlearn years of conditioning overnight. And I'm not saying that it's easy to forget traumatic events and things that might make you the way that you are right now. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that if you decide to change and if you have an innate desire to make a change in your life, nobody can stop you. There is nobody who will stand in your way if you change for you. The hardest part is picking yourself up. And once you have picked yourself up, it's all the way up from here, baby. All the way up from here. If you do a thing for yourself, you will not look back because it's you who you would disappoint if you looked back. It's not anybody else, it's you, and you have to live with the fact that you couldn't change yourself and you chose willingly to stay in a position to be the type of person that you don't like. You have to live with this fact now. If you don't want to live with this fact, seriously, get up and do something. Seriously, just decide to do it. Like, think later about how you're going to do it. Just want to do it. You just have to want to do it. And if you want to do this, no one can stop you. Change will never happen if you're not willing for it to happen. If you internally know that, oh, I'm okay with people treating me like crap. I'm okay with, people just taking and taking and taking from my energy. I'm okay with doing things just so that people can praise me. You will never change. You have to believe that you can change and you have to do it for yourself. The next thing that I want you guys to know, and I can't believe that it took me so long to realize this. I truly believe that realizing this would have changed my life earlier. But here it is. No one in your life is more important than you are. Listen to that again. No one in your life is more important than you are. You are the main character of your life. You know why? Because this is your life. You were born into this world and you are responsible for your life. And of course, there's other people who may be really important to you, who may be a sense of support for you, and that's great to have. If you have that, you are extremely, extremely lucky. And they are like, having those important people can really change the trajectory of your life. But just remember that no one is as important as you. Nobody should be as important as you to yourself. If you are the main character of your life, think of everyone else as a supporting character. Everyone else is a supporting character there to support you or there to add character development to your character. And think about it this way. If you're watching like Harry Potter, for example, who's the main character of Harry Potter? Harry, right? Does that mean that Ron, Hermione, Professor Dumbledore are not important characters? No, of course not. Does that mean that Harry would have succeeded without them? No, of course not. But does that mean that they are more important than Harry? No, because he's the chosen one. Because the book is called Harry Potter and the blank. Because the movies are called Harry Potter and the blank. Guys, you have to start thinking about it this way. You think of yourself as like a character in a movie where you are the chosen one. You were chosen to live this life. You were chosen to come out into this world, and in wherever you are right now, you were chosen to live this particular life in this trajectory. So you have to make decisions that benefit you, that put you up for success, not anybody else. And you have to start listening to what you want rather than taking advice from literally anybody else. Major in what you want to major in. Study what you want to study. Dance if you want to. Play whatever sport you want to. Wear whatever the hell you want, because this is your life. One thing that my mom always tells me, it's this sentence in Hindi that she loves to say, is Suno sabki karo apni, which basically means listen to everybody, but do what you want. So, since you have this amazing supporting cast with you, use them. I'm not saying that you have to use them and just keep taking advantage of them or whatever, but like they're there to support you. People are here to add to your character development. People are here to support you into your future. So take advice. Let's say there's a thing that you want to do, but you're not super sure about it. Take advice from everyone around you. Ask your parents, ask your friends, ask your brother, everybody. Ask people what they would do if they were in your situation. Take advice from them. But then at the end of the day, yeah, you're the one who has to do the thing. So you took advice from everybody, but you're gonna do what you want. Advice is what they would do if they were stuck in your position. But at the end of the day, they are not in your position. They are not in your situation. They are not in your situation, and they don't have to make the decision that you have to make. So just go ahead and do what you want. You now have perspectives that you didn't think of your own, and you have more points to consider. But at the end of the day, the decision is in your hand. Because why? Because this is your life. You're the one in this situation, not them. And you're the one who has to make a choice, not them. So don't let anybody else choose for you. One last thing to tell you guys, this is not related to, this one's like a little bit more random, but I think it's something that everyone needs to know. It is that looks do matter. This might be a very, very tough pill to swallow for some of you guys, but looks matter very, very much, and clothes make the man. Remember that first impression is the last impression, and most often first impressions come from physical appearances. That means you have to start putting in effort into how you look. I am not saying that you have to show up to class every day with a full face of makeup, wearing like a dress and everything. I'm not saying that, but you have to start looking put together, because the way that people look at you and the way that you dress really can change the way people perceive you. And like I know this sounds counterintuitive to what I was saying, that oh, like you can't be worried about how people perceive you and everything, da, da, da. But listen, I don't have to tell you this, because you'll find so many studies on how when two people with the exact same experience came together in an interview, but the person who was dressed better, or the person who smiled more, or the person who carried themselves better, who was able to talk better, was offered the job over the person who was not, even if that person like was smarter than them, or like more emotionally intelligent than them. This is so true, guys. You have to, which reminds me, you have to start dressing for the job that you want. You have to start dressing for the parts that you want. You have to start dressing for the type of partner you want to attract. You have to start dressing the way that you imagine yourself to look like 10 years down the line. So let's say, like, think about who you want to be in the next 10 years. Do you want to be a successful CEO who walks into an office wearing a powerful pantsuit? Then start dressing like that. Wear pantsuits. And you don't have to do that. This is just an example. But like, if you think that your highest self looks a certain way, what is stopping you from looking like her right now? Right now, start doing what you want to do. And I do think, like, okay guys, I go to a fashion school, I am a fashion student, so I do think that like knowing about your style and what you look good in is great. I'm not saying that you have to know that. All you have to do is look put together and presentable. That is literally it. And I know this sounds so superficial and shallow, and I wish it wasn't this way, but that's just the kind of world that we live in right now. And like I said earlier, if you can change the world, you have to change yourself. And that's all that I wanted to really talk about today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned something. To be honest, a YouTube channel is something that I've always wanted to try, and after so much contemplation, I've finally decided to go forward with it, and hopefully I can keep making cool videos for you guys and for you guys to watch, for you guys to learn something. If you did like this video, please share it with your friends, with your siblings, with your aunt, your uncle, your brother, your sister, with your parents, whoever. And yeah, please subscribe and stay tuned for everything. All my social medias are also going to be down below. If you ever need any sort of advice, or if you ever need to know anything about being a teenager or being 20 years old, please reach out to me. I'm very responsive on socials. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Bye.